Hello everyone, my name is Sahil and I welcome you all to the ethos, what is the right thing to be done. So basically, here we will be taking up some of the important concepts with respect to the ethics, integrity and aptitude GS paper number 4. We will be discussing the concepts into the exam presentable manner and we will be trying to understand all the nuances that are associated with it. Guys, let's start up with the today's video. So actually, today we are going to discuss a kind of an issue between the law versus compassion. What is more important with respect to the ethics, whether following law will make you more ethical or whether portraying compassion will actually make you more ethical. This kind of a dimension becomes very important for our examination. Let's discuss it. But before that, a fundamental question emerges that why this particular thing becomes important. So it becomes important because of few developments that have happened over the past few months. Let's first of all have a look over those developments. First of all, this was the article that has been taken from the Hindu newspaper. Here you can read the article. It says final phase of the Khori Basti demolition begins. First of all, let's understand the background of this particular article. Basically what happened, the Supreme Court ordered the demolition of a colony named as the Khori Basti. Now into this colony, there were more than 5,100 of the houses that got demolished, more than 36 of the social institutions got demolished, many of the educational institutions got demolished and more than 18 to 20,000 people, they lost their shelter. Now the order came by the Supreme Court and the enforcement agencies, they started this demolition drive and people became homeless. Now guys, what you can see here an enforcement officer, he is simply following what has been prescribed by the judiciary, which he is simply following what has been prescribed by the law. But into this capacity, do you find that it is ethical? Okay, do you find it is ethical? Because when we read the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights 1948 into the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights, basically 3 rights have been called as the fundamental human rights. That is the right to shelter, right to livelihood, and third is the right to food. Right to shelter, right to livelihood, right to food. Now we are living into the mid of a pandemic where the social distancing and staying into the houses, all these kind of things have been mentioned, and there demolishing the houses and making the people homeless. The enforcement agencies, the officers, they have followed the law, but is this ethical? One particular aspect. We will be seeking the answers onto that thing. Let's take one more related issue into this particular direction. Now this is also the news article taken from the Hindu newspaper. Here we can see that for the Delhi street vendors, it's not business as usual after the High Court order. Now what happened into this particular issue? Basically the Delhi High Court, it ordered that all the hawkers and vendors in some of the prominent markets such as the Lajpat Nagar, Connaught Place, they are needed to be removed from there. Now again a fundamental question comes. You need to understand that again, we have seen the successive waves of the lockdown, we have seen the successive waves of the pandemic, where again the people's livelihood got impacted severely, and as people were recovering their livelihood, basically they have been removed. Now the fundamental question that emerges is that what has been prescribed, if you are following that, are you being ethical? Or simply there needs to be a different approach, there should have been a compassion and that thing would have made a person ethical. First of all, what do we understand by ethicality? Ethicality is the study of conduct, it is the study of human behavior under the lens of right and wrong. Ethics sees the various aspects of the human behavior, various conducts, whether it is right or wrong. Now, following law made people homeless, following law stashed the livelihood of people. Is it ethical? Or should compassion have been shown? And people should have been shown some kind of a mercy. First of all, what do we mean by the compassion? Compassion means that once you have seen a person in misery or once you have seen a person in a pain, you will be taking active steps to reduce his suffering, to reduce his pain. That is the compassion. But here, the sufferings of the people has not been reduced. So should the compassion have been followed or should the law have been followed? Now, first of all, we cannot directly answer this perplexing question, and such kind of things have been asked in UPSC. So let's see that how we will be tackling if such kind of a question comes into your examination. So this question could be handled by giving the justification from the lens of certain prominent thinkers. First of all, where it will be important? It will be important under your topic number 6, where the laws, rules, regulation and conscience as the source of ethical guidance has been mentioned. So directly important, topic number 6, GS paper number 4. Let's understand that how to tackle this question. So first, we can take help from the Dr. Amartya Sen's Niti versus Nyay approach. So the Dr. Amartya Sen came out with the Niti versus Nyay, where he had tried to tackle such kind of things. What the Dr. Amartya Sen says, he had explained the two concepts. One is the concept of Niti and other is the concept of Nyay. Niti, he explains, Niti means following the just rules, following the just institutions, and by following just rules and institutions, we try to bring the justice. Is it clear? By following law, by following rule, by following what institutions say, you try to bring justice. Is it clear? More of the Niti means bringing the procedural justice. You need to follow the procedure, and by following the procedure, you will be bringing the justice. Then the Nyay. Nyay says that we don't bother about what the procedure is. We don't bother what the rule is or what the law is. Nyay pertains to the realization of justice on the ground. Is it clear or not? Let's understand this particular thing by the help of one small example. Suppose you are an officer and you are overlooking the distribution of the subsidized food grains to some poor people. You have been given one instruction that you will only be giving the food grains to those people who have the Aadhaar card and who have a valid ration card. Now you are seeing the ration card and Aadhaar card and you are giving the food. Now suddenly you see that a very poor person had come, okay? Let's say a very poor person has come and he or she, they are having 2 of the kids and all of them are very hungry. They are asking you for the food grains. You see that they are having a valid ration card, but they are not having the Aadhaar card. But you have been given a direct ruling that you have to give the food only after seeing the ration card and Aadhaar card. Now, one is that you will say that, okay, I will follow what the rule says, I will follow what the law says, and by that particular thing, I will be a justice-oriented person. And you see that the law says 2 documents are needed to be there, 1 document is not there, you will refuse the food. What you have done? You have followed the Niti. You have followed the Niti. But following this Niti, had it actually led to the realization of onto the ground, had justice onto the ground came? No. The people have turned hungry. So this might not be the Nyay. Always following the rule might not lead to Nyay. Nyay means the realization of the justice onto the ground. Into this particular capacity, Amartya Sen says that you need to ultimately see that whatever you are doing, what it is bringing onto the ground. According to Amartya Sen, Nyay, realization of justice onto the ground, what is happening onto the ground, it becomes more important. Is it clear? Now, let's see both of these articles as per the understanding given by the Amartya Sen. So Amartya Sen would not have approved of this particular thing because he had said that enforcement agencies, they removed the hawkers, they snatched their livelihood, they demolished the basically this colony, 18 to 20,000 people have become homeless. This is not the justice onto the ground. Niti have been followed, rule have been followed, but Nyay have actually not come. So this particular thing might not have been clearly been approved here. However, there are some other aspects also. Gandhiji's talisman. What Gandhiji's talisman says that what is the right thing to be done? Gandhiji's talisman provides that what is the right thing to be done. He says that whenever you are into confusion or whenever you are not able to decide what is the right thing to be done, Gandhiji gave a test. He says, recall the face of the most poorest and the weakest man whom you may have seen and ask yourself a question that by taking an action which you are going to take, some qualitative improvement will come into the life of this person or not. If your action will bring some improvement into his life, if your action will ensure the Swaraj for the hungry people and the starving people, your action is just. Now again analyze these particular actions. Have they brought the Swaraj for the hungry people? The qualitative improvement has happened into their life. So simply on to the basis of Gandhiji's talisman, we can say that this particular approach might not have been the best of an approach according to these two viewpoints. I am not saying that this is the ultimate thing. I am saying as per these two viewpoints. Fine, one aspect. However, so does it mean that the laws are not to be followed? Does it mean that the laws are simply useless? No, we cannot say this particular thing. Why? Because if the laws will not be there, the society will not be able to function. There will be the chaos that will come. There will be a kind of a Matsya Raj that will come. Matsya Raj, it means the law of the fishes, where a big fish will eat a small fish. That side kind of a situation will be there and the society will not be able to function. So simply we cannot say that the law are useless. No, we cannot say that thing. Into this particular capacity, there is one more viewpoint that we can take now in the support of the law. That is, we can take the viewpoint of the John Rawls. Now the John Rawls propounded his theory of justice into the 1971, which he later updated and said that justice is fairness. Now what is the John Rawls viewpoint here? Let's understand it. So basically John Rawls provide this particular thing that number one, if you see the present society, into the present society, clearly the justice is not there. He says that in order to bring justice into the present society, what we need to do, we need to renegotiate the social contract. We need to renegotiate the social contract, the contract between the citizen and the state, where the state was bound to give the welfare to the citizen. We need to renegotiate this social contract. Is it clear? The renegotiation of this social contract will happen under the wheel of ignorance. It will happen under the wheel of ignorance. Now I will not be going too much deep into this particular thing because we will be deviating from our core topic then. But I will give you a brief idea. Basically, John Rawls introduces two concepts, wheel of ignorance and the concept of original position. Basically, he says that we need to renegotiate a social contract, we actually need to recreate this society. He says that while recreating this particular society, all the laws that will be made, all the new rules that will be made, they are to be made under the wheel of ignorance. The people should make the law without keeping into the mind their vested interest. People should make the law, okay, without keeping that whether it will be benefiting them or not. So entirely new laws, entirely new rules are to be made under the wheel of ignorance without keeping any prejudice into the mind, without keeping your any vested interest into the mind. Renegotiate social contract and make new laws, make new rules. Now these laws and rules will provide fairness to everybody. These laws and rules will provide just liberty to everybody. And then by following those laws and by following those rules, then justice will be ensured. So John Rawls had supported the idea that the laws can lead to justice. But which type of laws? The laws which have been created under a new social contract. Okay, so basically the John Rawls had supported the idea that the laws can actually lead to justice if they have been created with a just intention. Okay, so indirectly Rawls had supported the law, but according to Amartya Sen, Nyaya is more important, realization of justice is more important. According to the Gandhiji's talisman, what impact is coming onto the life of a hungry man, it is more important. So basically, will the law always be upholding the ethics? Neither we can say categorically yes, nor we can say categorically no. And this is the beauty of the ethics. Into the ethics, you always need to keep it in your mind that you can never take one-sided answer that yes, always the law will be leading to ethics, or no, never the law will be leading to ethics. Basically, the right balance of the law as well as compassion is needed. What you need? You need compassionate laws. You need compassionate laws. Okay? Guys, many a times we had seen that the law becomes a source of something unethical. For example, into the Joseph Shine case, Supreme Court basically invalidated the adultery. And into the Joseph Shine case, Supreme Court provided that the existence of adultery was highly immoral. Clear? Adultery was once a law. It was said as immoral and it was removed. Clear? Section 377 was once a law. Supreme Court said into the Navtej Singh Johar case that the section number 377, it is violating human's right to privacy and therefore it is unethical into a democratic state. It got removed. Fine. So basically you need to understand that these kind of dimensions, it looks very simplistic, but your take needs to be very sophisticated, and this is the thing which will be leading you to get the marks into the examination. So these are all the aspects of this particular topic. Please give the references, okay? You can give them, but you need to make sure that you are not becoming too critical of a democratic process in a opinionated way, okay? By providing much of a substance and by invoking a thought, you can put these kind of things. So that is all about this particular topic. I hope that you have understood and you found some of the quality content into this video. So that is all for today. We will be meeting again. Thank you so much.